we'll just do row 1 minus row 2. And what happens? I'm going to get 0. Sorry, not 0. I'm going to get 1 there still. 1, then 0. And then 1 minus 5 over 7. Rewrite 1 as 7 over 7, so I have a common denominator. So I'm going to take 7 over 7 minus 5 over 7. That's 2 over 7. And I'll get that here too. So 2 over 7. That's what I'm getting there. And then in this last row, how do I get rid of this negative 1.7? Well, basically what I need to do is take 1.7 times the second row and add it to the third row. And that's fine, but it's kind of gross just because I don't really want to take 1.7 times a fraction. This fraction is kind of an annoying fraction. It's infinitely repeating. I don't want to deal with that. So maybe it's better actually to convert this to a fraction first. So let's convert negative 1.7 to a fraction. What's negative 1.7 as a fraction? Well, it's just 17 over 10. So negative 17 over 10. Maybe this doesn't look much better. I don't know, but to me, this makes more sense if we're doing this out by hand. So convert negative 1.7 into negative 17 over 10. And now let's take 17 over 10 times the second row and add it to the third row so that this cancels out and I get 0. So I'm going to get 0, 0. Now I have to take 5/7 times 17 over 10. Well, 5/7 times 17 over 10. 5 goes into 10 twice. So I'm left with 17 over 2 times 7, which is 14. So I'm left with 17 over 14. So I'm going to get 17 over 14. And then I need to take 5/7 times 17 over 10 and then subtract 1. I already know 17 over 10 times 5/7 is 17/14. And so now I just need to subtract 1 from that. Well, what's that? Work out our common denominator. This 17 minus 14 is 3. So the answer there is 3 over 14. So I get 3 over 14. Did I do? No, okay, we're good. No, everything's fine. Sorry, I jumped ahead a step in my head. Got myself confused. So everything's okay so far. I don't believe I've made any mistakes yet, which is rare. Okay, cool. These two columns are done. So the last thing is to finish up this column here. And so I need a 1 here first. I need a 1 there first. How am I going to get it? Well, I'm just going to divide by 17 over 14. Dividing by 17 over 14 is the same thing as multiplying by 14 over 17. So I'm going to take 14 over 17 times the last row. I'm going to get 0, 0, 1. And then what's 14 over 17 times 3 over 14? Well, the 14s are going to cancel because I have 1 on top and 1 on bottom. So I think we just get 3 over 17. Okay, and now we're in great shape. I have a 1. I'm going to just use it to get rid of these, to cancel them out. And so how are we going to do that? Well, I need to get rid of a 2/7, so I'm going to take negative 2/7, the third row, and add it to the first row. So what happens there? I'm going to get 1, 0, 0. And then, we have to figure out what's 3/17. What's 3/17 times negative 2/7 plus 2/7? Well, that's negative, well, how about this? It's an exercise for you guys. I'll tell you what the answer is going to be. The answer is going to be 4 over 17. The way that I get at this is I would factor out the 2/7 and then simplify. As you would see, I have a 2/7 here and a 2/7 here. Factor out your 2/7. I'm left with a negative 3 over 17 plus 1. So it's like 2/7 over, what, 14, 17? So yeah, we get 4/7 if you simplify that. So the answer here is 4/7. If you don't believe me, either take my word for it or try to calculate it yourself. We should get 4/17. So sorry, 4/17. Forgot my 1. So we get 4/17. And then next, I need to get rid of this 5/7. So I'm going to take negative 5/7, the third row, plus the second row. And what's going to happen? I know I'm going to get this here. So the question is, what happens here? So I need to take 3/17 times negative 5/7 plus 5/7. I'd work it out very similarly to what I just did there. Take negative 5/7 times 3/17 and add it to 5/7. If I'm going to do this by hand, I think I would factor out the 5/7s, which leaves me with this. And so this is 5/7 times 14/17 again. So I think we get 10/17. And then, oops, got those mixed up. There we go, like so. And so this looks like the final reduction of the matrix here. So it looks like 4/17, 10/17, and 3/17. So if you check, those add up to 1. So that's good. Good sanity check. Use that up to 1. So it looks like W is 4/17, 10/17, and 3/17. And that's it. Okay, so there's our stable vector. So I might point out again that I could have sort of skipped our last step. Once I had these two, I was forced to have this be 10/17. I didn't really need to do this last computation because I know that all 3 of these have to add up to 1. So if I already know these two, those add up to 7/17. How do I get to 17/17 from that? Well, I need to add 10/17, which is exactly this. So usually when you're doing these, once you're just missing one of these, you can kind of just stop and figure out what it should be by subtracting the sum of the other ones from 1. The fact that these added up to 7/17 forced this to be 10/17 because they have to add up to 1. So I didn't really need to do this part where I add the row again. So I'll leave it by saying, you can either just carry this out like I did all the way, or you could just sort of stop at that last step and point out like, hey, these need to add up to 1, so I know what the last one should be. I'll leave it up to you guys, whatever you're most comfortable with, but either way works just fine. Okay, so that's it for this example here. Are there any questions about this example or anything related to stable vectors?